Hello everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of KingFit Journey. My name is Mitchell King and I'm truly excited to start this journey with you guys. Now first, let me tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm actually starting this channel. Well, first off, I have had my fair share of struggles throughout my life with weight loss and weight gain. It's been a roller coaster to say the least. Fitness and health has actually always been a really big passion of mine, but despite that passion, my weight has held me back in a lot of areas of my life. And I definitely know I'm not alone in that struggle. So that's exactly why I'm starting this channel. This channel is as much for me as it is for anyone else. The biggest reason I'm actually starting this channel is for personal accountability. If I know the world is potentially watching me, it makes it a lot harder to fall off track. And let's be real, we all need that push sometimes. Another big reason of why I'm starting this channel is because I've actually seen firsthand what happens when we neglect our health and don't take care of ourselves. I've seen loved ones struggle with diabetes and heart disease and other preventable diseases. Losing people you love to these diseases is heartbreaking, and I personally don't want to see myself on that same path. I'm actually turning 30 this year, and I want to start a family soon with my wife. But the reality is, if I don't start making some drastic changes to my lifestyle and my health, then I'm not going to be able to enjoy the life I want to build. My weight has always been a struggle for as long as I could remember. I think the first realization I ever had that I was bigger than other kids was probably in 5th grade, when my weight ballooned up quite a bit. And throughout my life, I've always been the bigger kid, or the big guy. And we all know how nice kids can be when you're a little overweight. In high school, I tried to lose weight, but I never stuck with it. Then in my 20s, I had periods of success with weight loss, but the weight always seemed to find its way back. Yo-yo dieting, starting and stopping workouts. It really is a cycle I know all too well. And then in 2020, like many of us, being locked inside for a year plus really affected my weight. I didn't take my health seriously at all, and I really let myself go. In fact, here is a picture of me at my heaviest. And then I carried that weight through the majority of 2021 until I started having health complications. And ultimately, that led me to pursue a healthier lifestyle. Some of those health complications weren't necessarily like heart disease or diabetes, but I actually started to have really bad panic attacks, which is not something I've talked about a whole lot, but it is a very terrifying thing when you feel like you might be dying. Ultimately, after the events of those panic attacks and that anxiety, I decided that it was up to me to take my health seriously. And at the end of 2021 into the beginning of 2022, I lost about 80 pounds. But then again, like I said, I was getting married that year. There was a lot of stress at work, and I let it go, and I ballooned back up. And ever since then, again, it's been a yo-yo. And now I am where I am right now. I've let my weight hold me back in so many ways. Everything from my confidence and my self-esteem to my energy levels, and even doing some of the simplest things can be challenging. But that ends now. I'm truly ready to make a change. And in the year 2025, I intend on seeing those changes through. All right, let's talk goals. I'm setting some really big ones for myself in 2025, and I'm putting them out there for the world to potentially see. So no pressure, right? All right, so let's talk about these fitness goals. My very first goal for 2025, as the video title states, I plan on losing 100 pounds of scale weight while maintaining or gaining lean muscle mass. Now, I know what you're saying. That seems like an incredibly lofty goal to have. And I agree. But if we don't shoot for the stars, we'll never get there. And if you break it down on a monthly basis, that's only losing about 8.3 pounds a month, which seems much more digestible than just going out and saying, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. My second goal for the year is to be able to run a sub 10-minute mile. And going hand in hand with that goal is my third goal, to be able to run a sub 35-minute 5K, which equates to about 3.1 miles. And also going hand in hand with those previous two goals is my goal to beat my previous Spartan race 5K time, which was 1 hour and 12 minutes. Now, I've already signed up for the Spartan race in October here in Nashville, and I fully intend on beating that previous time. My fifth goal is to be able to bike 10 miles on my indoor cycle bike in under 25 minutes. Now, my sixth goal is a heavy one.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Sorry. I intend on joining the 1,000 Pound Club. And in order to do that, I need to bench press 315 pounds, barbell back squat 405 pounds, and deadlift 300 pounds. And then also going hand in hand with that goal is I would like to be able to overhead press 185 pounds. And then my 8th and final fitness goal for 2025 is I intend on improving my mobility, more specifically with my shoulders and my knees, and then also getting into physical therapy and working on taking care of the chronic neck pain that I've been having in my cervical spine for about 7 or 8 years now. I actually have a compressed disc in my C5, C6, which I've been dealing with on a daily basis for, like I said, about 7, 8 years now. So I finally want to get that taken care of and get that all sorted out in the year 2025. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Mitchell, those are extremely lofty goals. Are you going to be able to stick with them? And are you confident that you're going to see them through? No, just kidding. Yes, I'm very confident. Why? Because I have a plan. And as we should all know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So here's how I plan on achieving those goals. Ultimately, it boils down to 3 things: consistency, effort, and tracking your progress. The first part of my plan, I intend on walking 10,000 steps every single day. Every single day. No exceptions.
No exceptions.
And in order to track my steps accurately, I'm going to be using my Garmin watch as well as my Whoop strap. Walking is so underrated when it comes to weight loss. It's simple, it's effective, it's low impact, and it works. Now, part 2 of my evil master plan to lose all this weight in 2025 is, you guessed it, a caloric deficit and tracking my macros. Now, I'm going to be eating at or below 2,500 calories a day. For someone of my height, weight, and age, that is a 500 to 700 calorie deficit, which they say is optimal for about 2 pounds of weight loss per week. Now, every other week, I'm going to be incorporating in a cheat meal on Saturdays. And in order for me to do that, but still stay in my weekly calorie deficit, I'm going to drop my daily calories to 2,000 calories, which opens me up to have a cheat day of 5,500 calories on Saturdays. And for those of you that are confused on how that works, let me illustrate it for you. So I will direct your attention over to my whiteboard of truth, and we will do a little math together. So this may make a little bit more sense for you guys on what I'm talking about. So over on this side, you're going to see where it shows what my non-cheat day weeks look like. And then over on this side, you're going to see what my cheat day weeks look like. So you'll see over here, my daily Monday through Sunday calorie daily total is 2,500 a piece, which equals out to be 17,500 calories at the end of the week. Then if we go over to my cheat day weeks, you'll see that I'm going to drop my calories down to 2,000 calories Monday through Friday. And that leaves me with 5,500 calories that I'm able to use on Saturday for a good cheat day, which video is coming soon. And then I'll drop back down on the following Sunday, back to 2,000 calories, which equals out to 17,500. So you'll see that either of these options equals the same exact weekly calorie total. Thank you, whiteboard of truth. Your services are no longer needed. And then I'm going to be tracking macros, which is a lie. I'm actually not going to be tracking macros. The only macro I'm going to be tracking is my protein intake. Protein is king, guys. You have to remember, protein truly ends up being the only macro that matters when you're trying to build muscle and trying to lose fat. I've tried low fat, high carb diets. I've tried no carb, high fat diets. I've tried everything under the sun. But when it boils down to is having a good protein intake. Protein is king. It really does help with every aspect of your life. So, in that regard, I'm going to be eating 250 grams of protein every single day. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but for me, that equals out to be about 1.38 grams of total protein versus lean muscle mass in my body. There's always a ton of debates on what is more optimal, if you should have 0.8, if you should have 1, if you should have more than 1 gram. Ultimately, for me and what my goals are, I need to eat more protein. Also, in that same regard, protein keeps you full and it keeps you full longer. It's really, really hard to overeat chicken breast. Try eating 6 chicken breasts. It's not going to happen. So that's why ultimately I'm eating a really high protein diet. Now, the third step to my plan is I'm going to be doing time-restricted eating, or as it's more popularly known, intermittent fasting. I'm going to be doing a 16-hour fasting window with an 8-hour eating window. This for me usually means skipping breakfast, which I'm usually not partial to eating that early in the morning anyway. And then on certain days, I might go OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, which tends to work out with the way my work schedule is. Sometimes I don't like or have time to eat in the afternoons, so I'll push all of my calories to the end of the day and just eat one big meal. And then also down the road, I actually plan on doing some 24 to 72 hour fasts, which I'll be documenting here on the channel, so stay tuned for that later on. The fourth part of my plan is zone 2 cardio, and to be more specific, 45 minutes of zone 2 cardio every single day. Now, for those of you that don't know what zone 2 cardio means, your heart rate is usually broken up into 6 zones, and the optimal one for weight loss, and more importantly fat loss, tends to be zone 2, and it also helps with your VO2 max, which I'll talk about later on in further videos in the channel and stuff like that, but it helps with your cardiovascular health. So zone 2 cardio. Now, that heart rate range is going to depend on your age and your gender. Now, for me, I believe my zone 2 heart rate right now is anywhere from 130 beats per minute to 145 beats per minute. So I'm going to be doing activities that keep me in that heart rate zone. And a much more simple way of boiling zone 2 down is, from what I've heard, is you can hold a conversation, but it's hard for you to do so. So you can talk, but it's difficult to speak while doing that. So if you stay within that range, you're probably somewhere in zone 2 to zone 3. Now, some of those zone 2 exercises I'm going to be doing is going to be walking, running, cycling, swimming, really anything that gets my heart rate pumping. I'm going to try to mix it up as much as I can. That way it doesn't bore me or anything like that. I'll also be doing some boxing. I'm scouting out some MMA gyms here in the Nashville area that I can maybe do a couple videos on jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff like that to kind of keep myself active, get me out of the house, get me outdoors and into, the community that is Nashville. Now, part 5, the good stuff, weightlifting. A lot of people sleep on weightlifting for weight loss. It seems counterintuitive, but actually the more lean muscle mass you put on, the higher your resting metabolic rate is, and the easier it is for you to lose fat. So you have to utilize weightlifting. I've been there before where I just thought, oh, I have to go out and run every day, or I have to go swim, and I don't even need to look at a weight because I'm trying to lose weight. And that is counterintuitive. Weightlifting is almost, if not more important than cardio. So what my weightlifting regimen is going to look like for me. Monday is going to be chest and biceps. Tuesdays is going to be back and triceps. Wednesdays is going to be leg and core because I'm a glutton for pain, and those are the 2 things that I hate the most. So I'm going to stick them in the middle of the week, and I'm going to do legs and core exercises. And then Thursday is going to be shoulders. And then Friday, I'm going to go back and hit it from the back with chest and back again. And then I'm also going to mix in some arms in there. Now, ultimately, my goal, as well as what should be your goal in the weight room, is progressive overload, trying to add weight to the bar just about every single week. And if you can't add weight, you need to add reps. And once you feel like you're comfortable doing that, you can add more weight. And ultimately, what that means is you're tracking your progress over time. You're ultimately adding weight to the bar or adding reps to your sets. And that ultimately is going to lead to hypertrophy, which is going to lead to muscle gain. In order for me to do that, I'm going to be writing down every single weight, every single set, every single rep that I do. I've actually been practicing this for about 2 years now, so it's kind of second nature to me. But if you're new to the gym, or even if you're pretty well seasoned and you feel like you can't break through some plateaus, start writing down your weights, reps, sets, exercises, all that great stuff. It's a really, really underutilized tool. Yes, you might look like a nerd walking around the gym with a notebook, but who cares? We're all there to better ourselves, right? Part 6 of my master plan is something that I feel like is completely overlooked when it comes to lifestyle changes or weight loss or muscle gain and all those things, but it's sleep. You have to sleep, and you have to get enough sleep, and you have to get good sleep. So that's something that I'm going to be personally working on through the year of 2025. I've come a long way from where I was, but there's still a ton of room to go. Now, one way that I'm going to be able to track that and have it measurable, as I had said, is with my Whoop strap. Now, I've had my Whoop for about 4 years, so it has all my biometrics pretty well tuned, and it knows when I get good or bad sleep. So I'm going to continue making sure that I'm getting at least 8 hours of sleep a night, of good, restful sleep as well. So you want to be in a dark room, you want it to be cold, all those fun things, keep all the light out, And one thing that's been really hard for me is staying in my phone at night. You know, having that bright light in my eyes, it is terrible for your sleep. I've spent hours on, as I'm sure a lot of us have, I've spent hours on my phone scrolling TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all those things. So we have to not do that. So that's something I'm going to be personally working on, shutting the phone off, going to sleep, getting full 8 restful hours of sleep. Number 7 is recovery. Again, something that a lot of people overlook. Now, I have the luxury of having a cold plunge that I built in 2023, and I also have an infrared sauna that in my gym that I also have the luxury of having. I'm very blessed to have those things, but a lot of us have, you know, saunas in our gyms that we go to. A lot of people, you know, cold plungers are starting to get more popular, so utilize those if you can. I also have one of the cheaper red light therapy devices, not as good as the commercial ones, of course, but it'll still do. So I'll be doing a little bit of red light therapy. And then, as I had talked about earlier, I'm going to be doing a lot of stretching and mobility work at home and in the physical therapy office. That way I can work on getting rid of this chronic neck pain and also taking care of some knee and shoulder pain and preventing those from being issues in the future. And finally, my 8th step in my master plan to better my life in 2025 is going to be cutting out any harmful substances. No junk food, no alcohol, no other stuff, if you know what I mean. I will still be doing Zins because I love them, but you know, we all have our vices. I love energy drinks. I'm going to try to cut a lot of those down. I'm going to really try to cut my Zin intake down as well. If you don't know what a Zin is, it's those little nicotine pouches. You know, pretty much everybody knows what a Zimbabwe is nowadays, but just in case you didn't, that is my plan. I plan on cutting out a lot of other things as well, like seed oils and harmful dyes and all those fun things that tend to plague our society nowadays. Because, you know, I want to cut down on inflammation in my body, and I want to cut down on all those harmful substances entering my body, because we only get one body, guys. We need to treat it like a temple. So we have our goals. We have our plan put in place, but we have to know where we are to know where we're going. So now we're going to be doing what's known as benchmark tests. What that is I'm going to test each one of my goals of where I currently sit, and then we're going to reassess in 6 to 12 months from now. So the things I'm going to be testing, first thing is going to be my current weight. Second is going to be my mile time. Third is going to be my 10-mile time on my indoor cycle bike. Fourth is going to be my max bench press. Fifth is going to be my max squat. Sixth is going to be my max deadlift. And then 7th is going to be my max overhead press. So no use in wasting any time with that stuff. Let's go get started with that right now. Okay, now that we have my current weight recorded, what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to go set my benchmark for 10 miles on my indoor cycle bike. Okay, I'm about to hop on my bike, but I figured I would show you what kind of bike I'm working with before I did that. So I have what's known as a Merrick, I believe, brand bike. You'll see it's a pretty standard cycle bike. I did upgrade the seat a little bit to be a bigger one. That way it didn't hurt my butt as much. You'll see this one does not have a screen on it. This one actually has internal Bluetooth that you can cast to your phone. So you'll see, and I'll put that up on the screen as I'm biking. And then you'll see this one also has an internal spin wheel. That way you don't have a wheel, you know, flying around, all that stuff. Really nice bike. Picked it up on Amazon, I think for around $350, $400. Maybe they've gone up, maybe they've gone down since then. I'll link it down in the description below. Really nice bike, especially if you're looking for a good low impact way to lose weight and you don't want to invest a ton of money, and maybe you don't have the luxury of being able to get to a gym, you know, every morning or every night. You can stick this one in your garage, stick it in your spare bedroom, something like that. So yeah, really great all around bike. So let's go ahead and hop on. All right, just finished up on the bike, came in right at 10 miles at 30 minutes and 32 seconds. So got to shave off just a little over 5 minutes by the end of the year. I think I can definitely do that. So on to the next benchmark, which I believe is the 1 mile run. So now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go test out my mile time. I'm going to get a benchmark mile time and see how much that improves over the next 6 and 12 months respectively. Now I will say it's been about 6 to 8 months since I've been running consistently. And I know what a lot of you are probably thinking, looking at me, this guy has never ran consistently in his life. First off, mean. Second off, not true. I actually used to run pretty consistently, especially leading up to my first Spartan race back in 2023. But like most things, I've kind of let that go. So now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go test it on the road, because any runners know road is king. I love treadmills, but I want to have a consistent mile time on the actual road. I'm also going to be tracking that with my Garmin watch. So I'm also going to be tracking that with my Garmin watch, along with my Whoop, and then I will upload the results onto the screen, somewhere on the screen, for you guys to see at the end. So let's go ahead and go get that done. Oh, forgot one thing. You can never go on a run without a good Zyn. So let me just go ahead and throw one of those in. I swear. What am I, crazy, going to run without a Zyn? All right, here we go. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate running. So this ought to be a good experience. Wow, that was terrible. Came in at 14 minutes and 17 seconds. Brutal. I am not a runner by any means, if you couldn't tell by this beautiful physique. I'm not much of a runner, and after about a year off of consistently running, yeah, definitely room for improvement. But 14 minutes, 17 seconds, I'll take it. We're off to the next benchmark. All right, so far we have my weight recorded, my cycle time recorded, and my 1 mile run time recorded. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the strength benchmarks. And I'm gonna start with my favorite of the 4 lifts that I'll be doing, which is the bench press. So what I'm looking for on the bench press is a 1 rep max that is clean, meaning it's a smooth motion, little pause at the bottom, push up to the top. I will say the bench press tends to be one of my better lifts when it comes to compound movements in the gym. So hopefully I'm shooting for around 255, 260, but we're gonna go ahead and see what that benchmark looks like. And then by the end of the year, we're gonna go ahead and try to shoot for that 315. But before I go ahead and get on the bench press, I have to get my protective gear on, meaning my wrist wraps and my elbow sleeves. I know I'm not lifting crazy amounts of heavy weight. I'm not Ronnie Coleman by any means, but I am getting older and I want to continue my journey through the gym, and I don't want to injure myself. So whether it's 135, 225, or 315, I always put wrist wraps on because I have had wrist injuries in the past, and I do get a little bit of tennis elbow in my elbows. So every little bit helps to make sure that I can continue my weightlifting journey. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with an easy 135. Good 3 clean reps. Okay, now we're on to 225. I'm going to be going for a single rep of 225. This is usually my working weight, so. All right, well, 225 moved pretty smooth. I think we'll bump it to 245. See where we go from there. Okay, so 245, we'll see how this feels and then decide to go up from there. Maybe, 5 pounds from here or something like that. But all right, let's go ahead and give it a shot. All right, 245 felt pretty nice too. Maybe I'll go up another 10 pounds. We'll get a little generous, see where that brings us. So I'm gonna go up to 255. All right, 255 attempt. All right, so got 255. That one felt a little heavy. Maybe I'll go up 5 pounds to 260. Let's see where that leads me. Okay, so 260. See where this brings us. Might call it after this and then just kind of build it from there, but we'll see. So 260 actually felt really good, but I'm gonna stop there. I wanna conserve some of my strength for the other exercises, as well as I don't have a spotter other than these nifty bars here. So I'm gonna call it at 260. Now we're gonna build up to 315 by the end of the year. All right, so now that I got bench press out of the way, we're gonna go ahead to overhead press. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and start at 135, just because feeling generous and I think I can get this. And then depending on how it feels, might go up, might go down. All right, so 135 moved pretty easy. Might step it up just 5 pounds on each side, so 10 pounds total. And we'll go to 145, see where that gets us. All right, so moving it up to 145. Let's see how this moves. That felt good. My mind is telling me to stop there, but my heart's telling me to make it an even 150. So let's go ahead and move up an extra 5 pounds. We'll go to 150. All right, probably stop here. Hopefully I get this 150. By the way, I noticed when I was playing back the video, there's a lot of interference on the mic, so I moved it from here to here. Sorry about the video quality. It will get better in time. Let's go ahead and conquer this 150 overhead press. Woo! Slow and controlled all the way through. Feel good about 150. So now we're gonna keep moving up from there. I think I set my goal at 185 or 180. I think I can get 200 by the end of the year. So stay tuned for that. It's all about smashing goals. So let's keep this train moving. All right, so now that we smashed the overhead press, now we're gonna move on to the barbell back squat. Now I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, because that's what this channel is all about, is honesty. I don't train legs that often. I hate leg day. It really is the bane of my existence when it comes to the gym, but 2025 is all about growth and improvement. I am promising you guys I'm gonna be doing consistent, at least once a week leg days. So we're gonna move on to the barbell back squat. I tend to do okay with this one. We'll see where I'm at. I know I have a pretty lofty goal of 405, but I'm a big boy, might be able to get there by the end of the year. So before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my protective gear, again, knee sleeves and my flat shoes. All right, so I'm gonna start with 135. Not gonna lie, guys, my form is probably dreadful on squats. I also threw the belt on just for added safety. We'll see what happens. Hoping to get 225. I think I can get at least 225, maybe up to 250, but we'll see. So feel free to critique my form down in the comments. We also have the depth cam there, which I'll be showing you another view, making sure I hit depth. So let's go ahead and get going here. All right, so 135 was really easy, figured as much. Let's go ahead and bump it up to 225. Let's get a little silly. All right, 225 attempt. I have not squatted in a really long time. So we will see how this works out here. I'll try not to trip over myself. $225 bounce pretty easy. Maybe I'll go up another 20 pounds, see where that goes, but not super confident on this one, so bear with me. Okay, 245 attempt. Not feeling confident on this one, but as long as we can get it back up, might be where I stop. So let's see where it gets us. So 245 moved really well, but I don't train legs enough to want to continue going up to risk an injury. So I'm gonna stop at 245. That'll be my benchmark. I really think I can get to at least 315 in 6 months and 405 in 12, hopefully. But you know, it could take years to get there. So we'll see. We'll see where we are next January in 2026. All right, so we got the bench, the overhead press, and the barbell back squat in the books, benchmarks recorded. Now on to the dreaded deadlift. I'm not gonna lie, guys, as much as I hate barbell back squatting, I don't deadlift at all, especially with the straight bar. I usually do the trap bar just because my form is not great and it's not where I think it should be to be moving heavy weight. And personally, I don't really like to deadlift. I don't think the risk versus reward is there, especially if you're kind of a beginner. It's always good to test it out and try it, but you can definitely build really nice legs, really nice quads, and you know, even a really nice back without deadlifting. I've seen it done. So that being said, I'm still going to incorporate it because you have to do a deadlift in order to get into the 1,000-pound club. So we're going to be attempting it. Really don't have high hopes for this. I'm really just going to be trying to work on my form. And again, down in the comments, give me advice, give me tips and tricks on how I can improve my form. So on to the deadlift. Okay, like I said, form's probably not going to be great, but we'll see where we're at with this. So like I said earlier, I wasn't really confident with how my form was going to look and how 135 would move, but I watched the video playback on that first attempt and it actually looked really good. So I think I'm going to move up to 225, see if my form degrades at all, and then we'll decide if that's where I want to stay or if I want to continue to move up. Again, trying to mitigate any injury or risk of injury as much as possible, especially on the first video. So we'll see how 225 moves and decide from there. All right, 225 attempt here while trying to keep the form relatively the same. Let's see here. Okay, so 225 moved pretty clean as well, but I think I'm gonna call it there. Just because really my goal for deadlift is 300. If I can get 350 by the end of the year, I'd be ecstatic about that. Pretty confident I can, but again, I really want to work on my form. I want to have clean, good form, and I don't want any lower back injuries or knee injuries or anything like that. Same thing for the squat, so I'm going to call it at 225, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got the weightlifting benchmarks in the books. Just to summarize, I'm gonna put them up on the screen here. We got a 260-pound bench press. We have a 245-pound barbell back squat, and we have a 225-pound deadlift, giving me a grand total of 730 pounds, which puts me just 270 pounds outside of the 1,000-pound club. Now, I am very confident, and I'd wager to say that I'm going to be punching my ticket to the 1,000-pound club by the end of the year. I'm pretty happy with those numbers, especially since I have not been lifting at all through the holidays, and I've only really been lifting consistently and heavily for about a year now. So I'm pretty happy with those numbers. And then, of course, just to throw it in, I decided to put in the overhead press just because I feel like that's a god tier shoulder movement and upper chest movement. So I got 150 pounds on that. Pretty sure. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna hit 185 pounds by the end of the year. Really, I think I can hit 225 by the end of the year. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna go ahead and head back upstairs and we're gonna conclude this video. So we have all those benchmarks out of the way. Now you know where I stand as far as my current physical health goes. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't know if anybody's ever gonna watch any of this, but if you are watching this, thank you so much for watching. I'd love for this YouTube channel to grow into a community of like-minded people such as myself that are truly ready to make a change and take their health and fitness seriously and have decided that, you know what, enough is enough. No one is coming to save us. That ultimately falls on us to take our health and wellness seriously. And ultimately, you know, I love the YouTube fitness community. I think it's an amazing thing, but it's no secret that there's not a lot of people out there that look like me. And I think I tend to be a little bit more reflective of the general population, and a lot of people are scared to take that journey because they're afraid they're going to be judged. So, you know, I'm putting myself out there, and if I'm judged, then so be it. I'm happy to do that and take that role, but I want to be an inspiration to people. Like a lot of people in the YouTube fitness community have been an inspiration to me. So if this message resonates with you at all, please subscribe to the channel down below. I'm going to be uploading every single Friday. I already have a ton of awesome videos planned for 2025. I'm going to be documenting my journey for the Spartan race in October. I actually have a trip planned to Italy in September, so I'm going to be documenting how to stay fit while traveling abroad. I'm going to be doing daily vlogs, healthy tips, tricks, recipes, fun challenges. I'm going to really push myself this year, so feel free to follow along on the journey. Don't forget to like and comment, and feel free to comment your own story. You know, I really, like I said, I want to foster a community, and I would love to hear your story. Thanks so much for watching, guys. My name once again was Mitchell, and I'll see you guys next time on KingFit Journey.